What is up? Welcome to the Transparency. Good morning, Friday morning, September 12th, all day today. We have a press conference coming on at 9 o'clock.
Shockwaves and lack of security to those who are listening and watching. So I would hope that this press conference at least has enough information where the law enforcement, those who are providing the press conference, can say they have reasonable surety that the person in custody is the person responsible for the shooting, and the investigation is continuing. And then, of course, the interview I can see going on for quite a bit of time, because I've always said, no matter what, the motive which we all seek lies alone with the person.
All right. Good morning, everybody. They have a suspect in custody. Actually, Donald Trump broke that news as he was walking into one of the morning shows. I said to myself when I went to bed that it felt like, what was the last one? When they did a press conference, acted like there was nothing going on, and then they apprehend in the middle of the night. So, welcome, good morning. At the time when I made this live to have happened at 9 this morning, it was yesterday late evening, actually probably going into the early morning hours of this morning. But if this is true, this is great news.
The motive which we all seek lies alone.
And remember, this is a suspect. So if you're going to stand for the same rights as, I believe that Charlie had the right, obviously First Amendment, this person has that right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty.
With the person who has did this, it is in their heart and mind, and they can write things and so forth. But without an interview and follow-up question, we really won't know the answers. Hopefully here, we will know the answers.
There is a scheduled...
And you can see right there, the podium is set up and ready to go. We do have a few different angles. One of the shots you could see there did go out, but that is the podium set up. We are likely to hear from Governor Spencer Cox there, a Republican, over in Utah as well.
Like, I see right there, why did he have to say the governor and then say he's a Republican? Why couldn't it just be governor, whoever? Governor. Like, I was watching numerous Charlie debates ever since this has happened. And last night I loved it when one of the debaters came up and he said, "Hey, I'm a gay male conservative." And he's like, "Well, let's just do away with it. Like, you're not a gay male. Like, you don't, why do we have to why are we putting a label on what we do in the bedroom?" You know what I mean? Like, and it's just so true. Hey, I'm a straight. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
Was the Utah Department of Public Safety. Some other officials could be there. The FBI special agent in charge. It's not clear if Kash Patel will be there again, the FBI director. He spoke, or actually was there just last night, and he was seen looking on the rooftop of that building along.
Yeah. So I will say this. Here we go. Ready? Let's take a look at I'm gonna play something, you won't really hear me ever say there we go. So here's Julie Grant's opening. If it plays, but maybe it won't. I don't know what it's doing. I wanted to play her little opening because I'm the type of person that gives props where props is due. Obviously, me and her were on complete opposite ends of what's going on, like with the Karen Reed case and stuff like that. Absolutely right there, Lady Di. Good morning. Why does everything have to be a label? It shouldn't. Okay. Does anybody ever say, like, I go and buy Kraft macaroni and cheese? I buy Kroger brand macaroni and cheese. Is it like, what? Labels, right? Come on now. But me and Julie Grant, obviously I was in the Karen Reed case. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this broad, right? Right. But what's interesting is that she comes at Turtle Boy, right? And saying that thinks all these crazy things about Turtle Boy, but says that Charlie has the right to the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and he's just out there with, freedom of speech and saying whatever and conversation, and it's like, wow, how can you say that? And yet you are so appalled by what Turtle Boy was doing. You know what I mean? Like, it just like that doesn't resonate with me. I'm like, oh, man, what? Like, it's like, wasn't Turtle Boy trying to have a conversation? Isn't that about talking like, hey, I'm trying to come up to you, I knock on your door, interview you, see you somewhere, ask you questions out, okay? And somehow that's witness intimidation, I would never say that Charlie was out there intimidating people, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? No! Like, you just can't have it both ways, man. And I think that's just my issue. And Meg P. I love when you're over here, Meg P. You're just such good peeps. Even though I can see your guys' faces, I do light up when people come in chat. And actually, I'm looking at chat, like I'm right now looking at chat. And I see some of you guys because I love your guys'. You can tell a lot of personality even when someone's just texting something or typing it in, but also in the comment section. I when I read people's comments, because I read them. Okay, if I ever heart your stuff, it's not. I could disagree with you, and I will still heart your comment because of the comment itself. And that, yes, like I can see where you're coming from. But if I heart your comment or I comment underneath your comment, I read them and I pay attention. I mean, think about this. I'm so detail oriented, right? Like I pay attention. I want to pay attention. I want to know what you have to say. Otherwise, I wouldn't have my comments on. No offense, but you can make it so that you don't have that. In fact, I believe Candace Owen yesterday, when she went live, I think she took the comments off the video so people, couldn't, I'm guessing, be hateful. And so Lana's got a spreadsheet on all of us. I wish I had that type of time, but you know what? I bet you AI could do that lickety split. Yeah, like I'm a conversational person. And you know what? I like to take something from everything I ever encounter in life. Like there's something to take away from it. You learn from it. And sometimes it's like you learn hard lessons, or sometimes you learn valuable lessons or insight. And for me, with going back and watching Charlie's clips of the different debates that he did, because I wanted to actually check out and see what different venues were for this tour that he was doing, because this kicked it off, being in Utah. That kicked off the tour. And so I was looking at the different, because I wanted to know what the process was to get tickets. Did it cost money? What type of questions do they ask? I wanted to see. So I went on his website where you could buy these tickets, and you don't buy them. They're free. And there's a student general admission and there's an attendee general admission, and you just click on it. And then you have to fill out, like I was saying, do they want like email addresses? But they're also going to get your name, maybe an IP address. I don't know. Okay. But it's free to go. And they want you to get these tickets. And it is a way to track. Okay. But I don't believe that Charlie was doing anything sinister with the names, but it got me thinking that if the FBI would have been using tools like that to see if the person had got a ticket, but going back to the point is, with true crime and people that want to talk about the cases, I'm always up for that. If I know about a case, I'll debate anybody about a case in the way that it was handled. and where you're at in the case. And people that will like just, no, why would I talk to that person? They're on the opposite side of where I'm at. I'm like, that's what you want. Why would I want somebody to come on my panel, okay, and I want to debate them, and they have everything in line with what I have? That's not a debate. It's just, I mean, I don't know, a pump up session, I guess. So, like during the Idaho 4 case, I wanted to have the discussions with Drunk Turkey. People are like, oh, I can't stand him or whatever. I'm like, why? He's being respectful. He can have his opinions on how he thinks X, Y, and Z went down, and I can have mine. And if my opinions are rooted in a foundation that is just hard to, how do you argue with that? And that's what I saw a lot with like Charlie stuff, is that it's like, you know, the dude read 100 books a year. That's two books a week, 52 weeks in a year. 100 books a year. I love to read. And I'm just like, dude, when does he have time to do that? Do what he's doing. I love people that have work ethic. I love people that, are passionate about something. And there was no violence here. If you don't like somebody's words, okay, that's your right. Oh, I don't really like the way that they, but did they hurt you? Sticks and stones may break my, but names never hurt me. Come on. So, Yuri, what's up, brother? What's up? Turning 5 people green. So for me, this is a horrible, horrible, horrible time. But I'm choosing to take something from it. And I want to have more conversations with people that don't align with me. And I've always wanted that, but I'm going to go out of my way to even more so, like, I want those conversations because you can learn a lot from them too. I want to know where you're coming from. And I want to know if you're all over the place, because to me, it shouldn't matter if your fundamentals are your fundamentals of your core values of, if you believe in freedom of speech, you can't sit here and say then you're against what Turtle Boy was doing. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's why when I saw Julie Grant's thing, I was like, I just have so many questions for her. Okay. I just want to ask her, how did you compare Turtle Boy and what he was doing? Because you're so anti him. And here's Charlie, and tell me where the differences are for you. I want to hear you articulate that to me. So so that's how I feel. I'm also on this big kick. I think I've been on this kick for a while though in my lifetime. Like, labels, are you kidding me? Label you? Like, what do you dude, label me a nice person. Label me a friend. You know what I mean? Like, what? Here, there we go. Right here. Stacy, awesome. Okay, so you say that Charlie didn't debate in good faith. Can you give me an example of that? Because I want to hear that. Labels belong on clothes, not humans. Yeah, but then what's funny is that and I've said this I think numerous times. I hate when Turtle Boy wants to attack somebody for what they're wearing. I'm like, dude, you're just crushing your like you're killing your argument when you want to attack somebody's clothes, man, or shoes, or come on. But I agree. But where was Stacy? Because I want to hear. I hate labels and journalism. Yeah, I think labels just. Oh, purple says you're my friend. Yeah. Yep. Good. I like this comment here. He would put his mic down when someone came up to debate him, so that person had uninterrupted time and, be respectful. And in debates, guys, people do cut each other off. Like, that's part of a debate. Like, because when someone makes a point, like right then, you have to it's just how your brain works. Like, you have something to say to that point right there. But that's why I love the whole here, ask somebody a question and that person has a minute to say something. And then, okay, now you have a minute to say something. I think to be a good debater, you also have to you have to know what you're talking about in terms of what the purpose that you're there for is, and what the topics could be. And something that I think was interesting is that Charlie had no idea what type of questions he was going to be asked, unless you're going to sit here and say that he had people coming up that he was paying, hey, ask this question. But yeah, we're waiting. Did the press conference start? I'm waiting. This is the press conference here. It's right here on this channel.
So far, I haven't seen those officials in particular, but I have seen, lots of law enforcement here. They're in the back, just talking, getting ready, getting everything set up. But I haven't seen the officials that are.
Yes, green bananas. Charlie never called people names or cussed at them. Nope. The only thing that I ever saw him say is, well, you came up here insulting me. Okay. So if you're going to insult me, then I'm going to ask you, or I'm going to tell you, I think that you're wasting your money here and paying this university because you don't know X, Y, and Z. And I didn't even go to college and I know X, Y, and Z.
Had that very solemn feeling.
Because I think somebody asked them the one time, which I just love, like, oh, what are your qualifications to be doing what you're doing? And I just think that's hilarious. What do you mean, what are my qualifications to be doing what I'm doing? Lana, what are your qualifications? Lana, why don't you get a job and not be on YouTube? What? That's like saying to every actor, hey, why don't you go get a job and not be an actor? What? That's an oxymoron. What are you talking about? Lana, go get a job. Okay. Lana, what qualifications do you have to be? What, an interviewer? What? What qualifications? I don't know. Sometimes in life, the qualifications come from inside. Like all the schooling isn't going to change who you are at the core, in my opinion. Like, if you're a shitbag, you're a shitbag. I don't think having a PhD is going to change that you're a human shitbag. It's just, wow. So you are a shitbag with a PhD, So I just saw, I'm interested in this press conference and in the days to come to see how transparent things are going to be. This is obviously federal. And what sucks about it being federal is we don't get to see a trial, right? It's so hard to get documents. You better put somebody in the courtroom and report on it. And, we all know how that goes. I didn't see him being openly racist. I saw him talking about things that people don't want to talk about. And it doesn't matter what side you want to fall on something. I loved his analogy. I've used this analogy since I don't even know, about racial quotas. I'm sorry, but I want the best doctor performing surgery on my MCL, on my ACL. Okay. And it's like, does the NBA have racial quotas? If the NBA had racial quotas, do you think it would be would it have the best basketball players in the league if 50% of the people had to be white? And the answer to that question is no. Like, the NBA is 75% black. So to me, it was like those are conversations that I don't think that someone flying a plane, like, I want the best people to be in the best, and then there's a different conversation to have. Well, do people have the same, maybe those percentages are like that because of the opportunity. The opportunity is not there. Is that, and I think that these are just all good things for exactly what it's supposed to be for a debate. Vanessa, because white men can't jump. Bottom line is I can't believe that anybody would ever say that they would ever want a surgery performed on them. And hey, it's okay if you give me, the 97th person versus the top 5. Like, I think that you'd be lying to yourself. And that's fine if you want to. Great question. What qualifications do you have to be a human being? I'm going to go with parents. Parents qualify you. So. Oh, good job, Sarah. There you go. That's a good one. People don't get assassinated for dividing. They get assassinated for causing, unity. Right, Murky? Let's hope. Let's hope. We are patiently waiting. There is going to be a live press conference, and Court TV is. I was going to use their stream. Good morning. Why did they ever take out like classes in high school? Don't you think that learning how to cook is important? Why did home ec leave? Like, come on, I think that that's an important thing. We have to put home ec back in schools. There should be like a civics class. You know what I mean? I loved my government class. I talk about this all the time. If you watch any of my true crime stuff, I'm like, did any of you guys go to did you guys have government class? Like, I just think that life, like, you want people to participate in life in a way that conforms to society and norms. And I mean, man, we had what was it? We had what's the other one that we had? We had home ec, and I mean, I'm sorry, but I think everybody should know how to turn on a stove. I think that everybody should know how to cook. Yes, Karen. Good to see you in here, Karen. Speech and debate. Yes. Communication. Right? In South Carolina, we still have government class in high school. Yes. We should know our rights. Oh, yeah. Remember keyboard? Yeah. Remember keyboard class? Yes, computers. Yes. In fact, we were just talking about this. The Ohio State testing, they use computers, and so I was talking to actually my son about it, because he's like, "Man, I hate taking the test on the computers," and he hates that because he never does that, right? That's something new that you're asking, third and fourth graders to get on a computer, and so you're actually like working with them, like typing, because you're like typing in your answers. Where if you're writing a sentence, you're typing in your sentence. And like literally, we were just talking about this last night because I said I hit up the teacher and I was like, "Hey, we're practicing that way, then, right? Like, our kids have the whatever, the laptops, but they're with the Chromebooks or whatever." I think that there should be like a self-help class in high school. Going to the grocery store, buying food, knowing what produce is, knowing, you know what I mean? Knowing that you should not eat chicken if it's pink. So there's just woodwork. Yep. Wood shop. Yep. Making them, we always made the best or the funniest gifts at Christmas time for our families, How to budget, yes. Finance, yep. How to remember the checkbook. Here, nowadays we have debit cards, but doing your taxes. Look at this. Don't you think that it's kind of important? I think it's extremely important. I think it's also for safety. You get a blowout on the highway. Shit, how many people know how to change a tire? Who do they even know who to call to change a tire? Remember our parents would get us when we got our license, it was like Christmas, you get AAA in the stockings. Budget and investing. Yeah. Can they teach kids not to be assholes when they grow up? Manners. Maybe we can teach some kids some manners. So how about this? In schools, they have the raising the hand system. So it's like, if you raise your hand now, it used to just be like raise your hand and then you're going to ask whatever it is that when I call on you. Now it's when you raise your hand, there's a 1, a 2, a 3. This is go to the bathroom. I need a number 2 pencil. What is it? Oh, 3, because it's like a W for water. I need to get water. And I'm just like, that's great and awesome. But once again, our kids aren't communicating. Do they do that there? Do you guys have that? You guys don't have that in your schools? Oh God, yeah. If you raise your hand in school now, if you raise your hand and you just are raising it, you have a question. But if you raise your hand and it's like, I have to go to the bathroom, you just go like this. So that way the teacher knows what it's for. And they say, just, okay, go ahead. Or if you need to get water, if you need a number 2 pencil, we don't have to get our kids any school supplies. The school supplies it all. And I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean? Do your kids bring home books? How about a teacher saying that a 4th grader doesn't have homework? I'm like, what? You have no homework? Never? The whole year? What? I don't know how that's helping kids. I have a problem with that. So my whiteboard, actually has homework problems on it right now that I made up. And we're learning about, here. Do you guys know why? And do you know that it's a federal law for school buses to be yellow? This is what we learned last night. I know, right? That's what I said. I said, oh, number 2 isn't like you have to go number 2. It's for number 2 pencil. Okay. They use the straws. You know, when you go to restaurants and you press on the button that distributes the straws. So his teacher actually has one of those, but it's for number 2 pencils. And so you press it and it delivers you a number 2 pencil. And I was like, I need those. I'm a number 2 pencil whore over here. So anyways, yes, yellow school buses, and it's actually a color, and it's called the yellow school bus color. It's like actually like a color. Federal law, you have to have your buses yellow, because yellow is the most noticeable color in the dark. So it's like a safety. And then you have to have black writing, not white, not outlined in any type of way. You have to have black writing because black is the best on to be visible within fog, dark, on the yellow. And so it's all about safety. And we were learning all about why buses were yellow and that it is actually a federal law. So they don't have central air? That's wild. School's not having central air. Anyways, what do we got going on over here? We are waiting for this press conference. As we are waiting, you know, when a good time to teach sign languages is when your kid's born and you're teaching them. If you use sign language with words, we did that. It's just so hard, you know. I think there's just a lot of advantages when kids are growing up and they have stay-at-home parents when they're, you know, born. I just also think that there's just so much time that you get, you know, if you're able to stay home with your kid and not have to go right back to work after 9 weeks. Or if you can work from home. I know that looking back, I have like just so many photos and all the shit that we did. But I wouldn't have had that if I didn't have a flexible job. There you go. I know, isn't it the best? Isn't it the best? Cursive, yeah. Shit, we can't even get these kids to print anymore, right? We look at these handwriting. You're using a device that you can just talk into, and it just writes it for you. And it's like, who needs to print, Mom? Cursive, what's that? My signature, what's that? No, you can't just sign when it says sign. You have to, like, it's a signature, you know? So you're teaching your kids, like, it's just wild. It's just wild. Like, it's a cultural shock for me because I'm like, hey, why are you learning math this way? And he's like, hey, why is this teacher teaching me different this year than they taught me last year? I'm like, they're what? Because then I get rowdy and I'm like, well, that's a problem, you know? Son went to a public school and knows zero cursive, daughter private, and always writes in cursive. Yeah. How about for me, spelling words, okay? You become a really good speller, right? Like spelling the word. So like I was like, write the word 3 times over. And when you're like writing it and seeing it, I don't know, then won't you remember when you were writing it, what it looked like? You know, you have your words and then like write them 3 times each next to it. that's like what we had to do. I haven't gotten one paperback yet. Like no tests, no quizzes. I have no idea how my son is doing in school. And I'm like, do you have any quizzes? Do you have a test? What are you learning? Oh, that's my kid could read 187 words per minute in 3rd grade. That's fucking great. Now, are they kind? Just messing with you, boss lady. My cursive is on. It bet you it's better than Brian Culver's. You guys remember Book It? When we used to get like free pizzas from Pizza Hut, like personal pan pizzas. I just love that. Oh, right. Mike Droppin says, I have totally forgotten even how to spell. You know, autocorrect is an amazing tool. All right, here we go. They're going to do some tests here. Can you guys hear anything? Yeah, using this, and then you use the word in a sentence for spelling words, you know? I just love that my kid asks me, like, when I say something, when I say a word, or he's reading and there's a word, he'll say, like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And I just love that. We should worry when our kids don't ask those questions, because they should not, like, they don't know. And when you don't know something, so that's what I'm always like, hey, when you don't know something, just ask. You want to know what it is. And I think, what was it last night we were reading? One of my favorite, like, you know, I guess say, elementary school book is Don't Eat Your Classmates. I just think it's hilarious. Like, don't eat your burgers. Like, don't eat your classmates. And so we read that book, and then he wanted to read it by himself. And then we read, I thought he was going to get like a Halloween book, and he comes in with like an Easter book. I'm like, you do know it's not Easter season, right? And this book is titled, I should just go grab it. Jax is in 4th grade. 4th, can you believe it? I'm like, 4th? What? I'm gonna go grab it. It was the word was preferred last night. That was one of the words. He's like, what's preferred mean? I'm like, perfect. I was like, well, if I prefer Nike shoes versus Adidas shoes, what do you think that means? Oh, yeah. And then he says, yeah, your preference. I was like, yeah, see, like, this is my preference, my choice, what I like better. Like, I prefer this, I prefer that. And so something that Jax would always say when he was growing up is, Mom, I want anything less spaghetti. Except I want anything less spaghetti, macaroni and cheese, and a hot dog. So it's like, I just loved it. And I just let him say it because I thought it was so great. Anything less. And then he would say what he did. I want anything less. And I was just like, yep, you can say it just like that because it's perfect. Mom, anything less gushers. I was like, you want a snack? Anything less gushers? Okay. Kids are the best. Just so innocent, and I was like, that's the best. You can say that. I am so glad to be back. I've missed listening to Lana. Well, what's up? Welcome back, Miss Potter. Kids are the best. I was speaking of kids. I was listening to Charlie's debate on in vitro, and it was actually very interesting. Some of the things he was saying, because he basically was putting it on the doctors. He's like, I have no problem with in vitro if you're taking it in terms of hey, you plan on raising that many kids, you plan on having that many kids, you don't put whatever. I think he was just giving a bunch of examples, and he was saying, I'm the two girls that asked him the question, he's like, first of all, I'm so glad that you're here, and he doesn't push it on you. I just never felt that. I always just felt like it was just it gives you something to think about, differently. And so he basically put it on the doctors, and I thought that was interesting. That when a doctor just keeps on saying, okay, we'll come back, we'll put 6 eggs in you, and then come back, okay, now we'll do 10, and now we'll do 15, and now we'll do 20, and now we'll do 25. Isn't it that I was watching that last night, and actually watched it twice, because I was like, dude, this debate, it goes into basically doctors and what they're doing, so this is very interesting. We are waiting patiently for this presser. They did this last night too. They said that they were coming on at 9, and I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited. Let's see what they're doing over here. Yes, thank you, Cookie Harris. That's exactly what debating is supposed to be for. Is that listening to where someone's just coming from, then you can see it tells you a lot about them. Because if somebody's debating and you just wow, you're all over the place. You're like, this was just the one topic that we were talking about, and here you're not even making sense, or I see now where you're coming from with why you feel the way that you do. But without talking about it, I have no idea where you're coming from, right? I have no idea. And sometimes in debates, I think actually a lot of times, there is no someone's right and someone's wrong. It's more of just understanding. And if you can understand where someone's coming from, at least they're their brain's functioning. They in their mind believe this, and this is why. And you can find mutual common ground with respect. I can respect that. Okay. I'm sorry, just I want to have a debate about laziness. Does anybody want to talk about debating laziness? I want to debate that. How is it that someone could say I don't care all the time, or I don't do anything, or why? Laziness is intriguing to me. You can go out and do anything you want, right? Go out to the park, go hike, play video games. I mean, there's something that that you gotta like, right? Or that you enjoy. I wish people were talking this much about him before he was killed, says nonchalant dread mom. I he had 4 million followers on YouTube. 4 million. 4 million. He started in his parents' basement and with a tent, went outside with a tent, I mean, you want to talk about somebody just
check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check.
I think people were
3 4 5 6.
I think
7,
I think
8,
people
9,
were
10. 1 2 3
This
4
should
5 6. We're
unite
hoping to get
us
at least
to
a
say that
3-minute
this isn't
warning when
okay.
they start walking, but we haven't got that yet. So
for me, everything that I watched yesterday and the day before is blaming. Like, I immediately was turned off by that. Like, and anybody using "but" after saying he was murdered, like, what? No, like, this should unite to say we do not stand for this. We will not stand for this. This is not how we do things. We do things. Oh, Cookie Harris says, haha, we are on the same wavelength. I met you in Delphi. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that case breaks my heart. I just hope one day he gets a fair trial. It's like you and me can disagree on if we think somebody's, guilty or innocent, right? Okay. But we should agree that everybody deserves a fair process, right? And that you're innocent or proven guilty, right? And I just think that we should all agree that everybody deserves a fair trial, a fair process. And it's okay if you think before the trial starts that they're innocent or that they're guilty. But as long as we know that we have that right and it should be honored that we have the right to a fair proceeding, and that includes the presumption of innocence and that they have to prove their case beyond whatever, if it's whatever the case is that's for that trial. This should be bringing people together to say this is not acceptable, not okay. And I know it's going to be heated debate. It's what's coming is everybody that made a statement after he was shot and killed. That was, I say be careful with what you're watching though. People are making fake accounts and making something seem like something's not, stuff like that. But to go on social media and be like cheering this on, and then there's school districts, government jobs basically that are putting people on paid leave because of what they wrote out on social media or said on social media after this. So I think that's going to be what people are going to be talking about. Oh, yes, I'm going to be doing a lot of talking about here about Delphi. The plan was to talk about it after the trial for the Idaho 4 case because I was planning on being in Idaho a lot and covering a very extensive trial and prepped my ass off for there to be a trial. And was going to be doing and focusing on Richard Allen stuff after that. So I will be transitioning and most definitely will be talking about the Delphi case. And I'll be talking about that fucking book. What's up, Mar girl? Girl, good to see you in here. That's a gossip column. That book. Justice for Charlie. Yep. And I think it's important for us to justice for Charlie, but to make sure that this stuff, like, how did this happen? You know, don't sugarcoat how this happened. People need to know how this happened so that they can protect themselves in the future, right? And it's okay to say, like, hey, I guess we didn't do any roof checks. I mean, I find that hard. Okay. If I was in Charlie's position and I'm going to be going, because that's what I wanted to look at last night. I looked at all the different venues that he was going to for this tour. And immediately when you get, if you just go online and you were to like get drone footage of this area at the Utah Valley University, he is sitting, you can tell without even, he sets up the same way for every debate. He sets up the same way, you know? So that was one thing that I looked at, is that he sets up the same way. And when you look at that university, you know exactly where he's going to be situated because of how they hold. It's like a bowl. You are literally going down into a bowl. And the first thing I would say is I'm literally in a bowl, which means everybody around me is, there's only going to be so many people, and it's going to be such a small percentage that are going to be like the same plane as me. And everything else is like up. And so I can't imagine that they wouldn't be checking like the roofs. And knowing all the access points to the roof, right? He got there at 11:52. 11:52. How that gentleman had any way to get to an access point to the roof by getting there that late, that's a huge misstep, or something's wrong, something's off. 50 Cent was wearing bulletproof vests at all his concerts back in the day. But my take on that is a vest can't help you when someone that's going to be shooting somebody, they're going for your head. It's just sad. But you should never have to worry about something like this. But just because you don't have to worry about it, or just because we shouldn't have to worry about it, doesn't mean that we don't take our precautions and look at, 9/11, what it all transpired from it, then TSA. And so I agree, Holly Berry. I think something is way off with it. Or somebody missed an assignment, I don't, if you guys see that venue, you don't need to be an architect. You don't need to be an engineer. You have to just have this amount of common sense. And I just think that if Charlie would have himself looked at the venue, he knows, oh, wow, all these roofs that are right around me, not only are they so close to me, but because of the way that the bowl shape is, the back ends of these roofs, you can jump off of and be fine. You know what I mean? So that was the other part, is that it's kind of like the Idaho 4 house for me. That top balcony, you could jump from that on the left-hand side, and it's like you're right. It's the easiest jump down. Like, versus all the way on the right-hand side of the Idaho 4 house with the balcony, it's way higher, right? Well, it's because it's backing up to like a hill. And when you're sitting down in a bowl and people have access there, and there's roofs all around you, and you can jump off from a roof, and have no breakage, no nothing. I mean, that's what stuck out to me right away. Did you guys know that there was only 6 police officers on for that day? 6. I watched that last night. 3,000 people gathering. 6. And they said that they did their security checks with it and went over it, and then they're talking about the other thing that's so strange to hear. Well, this is Utah. I mean, we're the most conservative. Everybody likes Charlie or something like that. And I'm like, wait, what? Oh my God! It's like you're saying that people that didn't, that there couldn't be people that didn't like him and weren't conservatives that could have been there. It just blew my mind to hear somebody even say that. Wait, that's just dumb. Just horrible. That just doesn't make sense. Let's see. Jenny says that Tyler Robinson, 22 of Utah, is reported shooter. I just think the minute that you start off talking about and saying left or right is the minute that I'm going to say, okay. Why do you feel the need to say that to start
Check
anything?
1, 2, mic check.
It should
1,
just
2,
be,
3, 4, 5,
here's
6,
the question,
7, 8, 9,
or
10.
here's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Here's
10.
how I
Check
feel,
1, 2,
or here's
1, 2, 3,
something
4.
that I want to talk about. When you have to say the words left or right, okay, or Democrat or Republican, before you feel the need to say something, I just go talk to somebody else. Come on, why would they say we're doing this at 9? It's 9:48. I don't want to hear any more shit when I'm 5 minutes late, guys. Okay, this feels like we're getting bevved. Bev, they're taking one out of your handbook. Fashionably late. I blame Bev. It's fucking Bev, man. She's just setting trends over here. Woman. Hilarious. It's a human life. I don't care about exactly. And same with the arguments. And same with every argument. And same with every debate. Okay. Anything you want to talk about in life. Like that's why it's like go to a PTA mom meeting, okay? And they want to talk about the freaking pickup line, okay? We're gonna have a debate about the pickup line. Okay, yeah, I have a lot to say about the pickup line. Why do we have these parents that are getting in line at 11 a.m. when our kids are getting out at 2:30? I just want to know how you're able to get in line at 11 a.m. for you just dropped your kid up at 8. I really want to talk about this. What are you doing in your car? Okay. You know, you just dropped off the kid at 8 for 8:20 school, okay? And I want to know how there's already a line forming at 11 a.m. Can we talk about that? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is why would any of you guys wait in that line when you guys can just write down that your kid's a walker, okay? And you could park your car in the parking lot and your kid gets to be dismissed out a different exit and they come and they walk to you and then you get in your car and then you leave. How long does it take you to pick up your kid from school? About 45 minutes, huh? Why do you do that? Like, why are you waiting in that line? I think it's unsafe. I think it's unsafe, and I think that the pickup line is an absolute joke. So I just want to know, any way you slice and dice it, you just waited, got in line at 11 a.m. School doesn't get out until 2:30, so you waited how long then? 3 hours and 30 minutes, right? Okay, I'm gonna get there 10 minutes late to pick up my kid, and then I just wait 20 minutes. But you see how ass backwards that is? Like the thought process is like, what? Because this is their argument. I'm not gonna wait in that long line. Wait, you're not gonna wait in what? You've been waiting for 3.5 hours. What are you talking about? You're not gonna wait in that long line. That is, I love when people say that comment to me. I'm like, oh, you're not going to wait in that long line? What time did you get there to get in front row over there? Or like the 5th car? What time did you get there at? 1 for 2:30 pickup, for 2:30 dismissal. You got there at 1. How long did you wait then, honey? An hour and a half, you know? It's just, and I'm like, do you get it yet? You waited an hour and a half, and I'm the 100th car, which I've never been because my kid's a walker. My kid's a walker, but he doesn't walk home. He walks to the car. Where I meet him at the door. I like to walk with him, so I just meet him. And I'm just like, so the people that are all the way at the back of the line, they waited 30 minutes. You waited, since 1. So you actually waited longer. And all it just shows me is then I just ask them, you clearly had nothing to do though, and that's why you could be there. Or whatever it is that you're doing, you can do in the car. Okay? And I'm like, do you want to pick up my kid and drop them off? Because if you have nothing to do, we should probably carpool. I'll pick your kid up and take them to school. You pick up the kids and bring them to me. How about that? The walker line, that a joke? No, you write down that your kid's a walker. Okay? And then you go to the school and you park in the parking lot, the big parking lot that they have, and you meet your kid at the door when they're about to leave to walk out of school, and you greet them, and then you walk to the parking lot and you get in your car and you leave, and that takes me all of 6 minutes, versus seeing this line that is wrapped around all over God's creation. And I'm like,
Hello, testing. Hi, everyone. We are 4 minutes out from starting the press conference.
Oh, thank God.
You.
And so I just kind of I chuckle to myself, like, it's like, how are those people never frustrated that they had to sit and wait in that line? Like, and it's not like it's 10 minutes. Like, we'll do it one day. Are walkers supposed to walk home? Yeah, they can walk home off the side of the road. They can get in the car. They can walk right into my car. They could, and now, granted, we have 3 family members that live like a block and then like 2 blocks. So today they're doing, I got my notification and it is oh, today's safety day. It's like safety drill day throughout the whole district. So we will be talking to students about being safe at school and practicing different drills. We will also continue our talks with students about the role our first responders play. An extension of our recognition of our Patriot Day today. So we are, celebrating the 9/11 for. So, anyways, I was talking to him about that yesterday and then this morning, and asking him about like, well, because back in the day we just had like tornado drills or like, you get under your desk or fire drills. I was never in school when it was like, oh, we're going to have an active shooter drill. What? It's just like, so I talked to my kid about it. I'm like, okay, because in 3rd and 4th grade, they're now up on the 2nd level. They're not on the 1st level anymore. And I was like, okay, so what are these exit plans? What's going on? I was like, the school is not that high off the ground, right? We can deal with a broken leg. I was like, did they tell you that there's usually only one shooter that comes in? So to stay inside and not try to leave is the way to go. So we talk about it over here. But all of our stuff is locked. But I mean, it's just crazy. Like I said, it's like a culture shock for me. We didn't do any of that. But I think that it's important to have drills. I think that it's important. Yeah, remember those? Just get under your desk, go into the coat room that was at the back of the classroom. The coat. We like checked our coats at school. I loved my little Catholic private school that I went to. Until I was just like, God, I don't want to wear my uniform every day. And then in high school, I loved it because it was just like,
They're on the way.
They're on the way. Yeah, I have his picture here and everything. We'll just, since they're now where they're at, I have 17 photos. He was an engineer.
Mic check. Hello. Mic check. 1, 2, 3.
Ugh.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1,
His poor mom.
Yeah, I mean, really, we're all just like standing right next to our cameras, our phones, our pad and paper, and everybody is gearing up because they are starting to come in here in the next few minutes. I would say around like maybe 2 minutes away. They give us a warning just a couple minutes ago, and so we have a lot of people that are just looking down.
You're saying it's
the
Tyler.
That's right in front of me over
Tyler
there, right
Robinson,
there. That's where they're going to come in
22.
this side right here and then stand at the podium. So we're gearing up for it right now. Yeah.
Oh gosh. In 2020, he was a senior, so his mom said head back to school, date number 2 with this man child of mine, and didn't get a single picture. This was a rough one since it's senior year. We met with his guidance counselor and started talking about colleges. This boy is a genius, and I'm hoping he'll pick a Utah college and stay close to his mama. He killed the ACT and has a 4.0, so his options are endless. And then she posted his scores. First day of school for my Tyler. Senior year is going to be busy for this boy. 4 college classes this semester on top of 4 high school classes, including AP Calculus. My brain hurts for him, but he's so excited. My cute little family. Oh my gosh. Tyler Robinson is in custody per New York Post. Law enforcement confirms to the NYP that the suspect, 22-year-old Utah local Tyler Robinson, was detained by his father until police arrived. His father. He's one of 3 boys. This has been the longest 4 minutes. Wow.
I'm sorry.
I think he's the oldest. Happy birthday to this boy, 17 years old. You made me a mama, and I wouldn't trade a moment. You are brilliant, kind, and just all around wonderful. Love you,
What'd you
baby
say
boy.
about cues? I think they're coming right now. Here they come. Here they come. Here they come.
She sounds like Master P. Here they come. Here they come.
Hang up.
Jeez. This is
It
awful.
wasn't the full group yet. We're like all trigger happy.
Do you hear this? We're all trigger happy. I mean, these people need to get better language. What's wrong?
They are coming down the hallway right now.
Maybe she doesn't realize that she's like, but I just don't use that. We should stay united and ask lots of questions. Oh, here it goes.
FBI Special Agent in Charge, Robert Bowles, and local and federal law enforcement partners. Following the remarks today, Governor Cox, Director Patel, Commissioner Mason, Mr. Question. Thank you.
This is crazy. Someone needs to tell them. He hasn't started speaking yet.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, What's this question mark? Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" exclamation point, "Catch!" exclamation point. Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Ciao Ciao." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who has worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're grateful for everyone who worked together in such a short amount of time to find this person and to bring justice. I want to thank the public who has been so engaged, reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into to law enforcement as well. I especially want to thank the family of Charlie Kirk, Erica, Charlie's parents, his children. I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case. They will be involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them as we move through this process as well. This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah. But I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history. With that, I will now turn the microphone over to the Director of the FBI, Kash Patel.
Thank you, Governor. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play, and we will play that role, and we will lead out for the federal government. But Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilize these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos of the suspect at 10 a.m. local time on 9/11. Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45 a.m. local. Myself and Deputy Director Bongino arrived on the scene at approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night at approximately 8 p.m., where at my direction, the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent, and we're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there. It is a large crime scene. State and local authorities, along with federal authorities, processed that crime scene quickly. And I even had the ability to walk through that crime scene and walk through the steps the suspect took to learn more about what was needed and what resources we needed to bear to create a full picture for the FBI and leadership back in Washington. Furthermore, thankfully to state and local partners, forensic evidence has been seized and continues to be garnered. Forensic evidence has already been evaluated at FBI laboratories in Quantico and state and local authorities here. We will continue to process evidence as we see it, as we collect it, and we will continue to deliver to Governor Cox and his team. Last night, we had a total of approximately 7,000 leads. As of this morning, thanks to your great work, we have over 11,000 leads that were called in to the FBI. And we are running out every single lead that we can. Every one of those leads will be run out. The arrest is a testament to the dedication of good law enforcement being great and partnerships in law enforcement, which I've tried to highlight as my tenure as the director of the FBI. There is no better relationship for law enforcement than the FBI to partner with state and local authorities, and you've seen it here in these last few days. The FBI Salt Lake field office, along with our offices in LA, Phoenix, Denver, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, our headquarters component in Quantico, all participate in the FBI. I want to express my deep gratitude to the employees of the FBI, the men and women, the evidence response team tacticians, the special operators, the agents, the support staff. You have done monumental work in historic time when the public, who had a right to demand such an expeditious solving of an investigation, the FBI answered that call diligently, critically important to our nation, and we delivered. And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI. This is a very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions. And we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have, as long as it takes, for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Thank you, and good morning. I would just like to take a few minutes as the sheriff to express my gratitude for everybody who has played a part in this investigation. As you know, it's been a vast, a complicated, and a very, very fast-paced investigation. You're looking at people standing up here who are running on, if they got an hour's sleep in the last couple of days, they're probably lucky. It has been very taxing. It has been so impressive, speaking on behalf of the local law enforcement, to see the cooperation that we've seen in this type of case. Across the state, sheriffs, chiefs, our state partners have stepped up and have come to the call on anything that we needed. Our county chiefs have been phenomenal. Our Utah County Attorney, Jeff Gray, who's standing up here with us, has been phenomenal in leading us through this investigation. I would like to thank the federal government for their resources, their assets. Our local team here, our FBI team, has been extraordinary in helping us work through this and bring this person to justice. Most of all, I would like to thank the public, and specifically, I would like to thank the public who turned to prayers and who turned to positiveness for us. I would like to thank them on behalf of the law enforcement community, because we needed those prayers. That's what we needed to get through this. We needed your support, and you gave it to us. We needed your patience, and you gave it to us. And I would like to thank you for the Kirk family, because that's what they need, is your support and your prayers, and that will get us through all of this. So thank you, everybody, for everybody that have stepped up. We've had such a phenomenal response to this. Thank you.
I also want to give a special thanks to the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. Their unwavering support and their commitment to justice is shown true here. And without AG Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and the resources they brought to bear, we would not have been able to complete our mission. And I just want to say special thanks. It's an honor to be a part of the Department of Justice.
Thank you again to our incredible law enforcement team who has worked so hard. Sheriff, I got a solid 90 minutes last night, so I'm probably the most well-rested person up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I get the microphone, so I hope you'll permit me a moment just to share a few more thoughts about where we are and how we got here, and maybe a little bit of where we go from here. I don't want to get too preachy, but I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country, and violence is tragic everywhere, and every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Even, especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much. Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And it was, as anger pushed me to the brink, it was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those. And specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country. As President Trump reminded me, he said, you know who really loved Charlie? The youths. And he's right. Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. And these are the words that have helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking, that's when you get violence. He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. Welcome without judgment, love without condition, forgive without limit. He said, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. A few months ago, I referenced this last night, Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay. He again said, when you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to commit violence. He said, what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable agreement, where violence is not an option. Now, again, to my young friends out there, you are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path. Your generation has an opportunity to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now. Not by pretending differences don't matter, but by embracing our differences and having those hard conversations. I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence. And there is one person responsible for what happened here. And that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable. And yet, all of us have an opportunity right now to do something different. I want to thank my fellow Utahns. This bad stuff happens. For 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us, that somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way
right
I
here.
hoped for.
Horrible.
Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, "Hey, we don't do that here."
That's so
and indeed,
wrong.
Utah is a special place.
That divides.
We lead the nation in charitable
that.
giving.
That's
We
like-
lead the nation in service every year. But it did happen here, and it was one of us. But I want you to look at how Utahns reacted the last 2 nights. There was no rioting. There was no looting. There were no cars set on fire. There was no violence. There were vigils.
There's humanity
and
across
prayers
the board,
and
not just
people
in
coming
Utah.
together to share the humanity.
Nobody did it anywhere else
And
either.
that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the answer to this. We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes, because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse. But see, these are choices that we can make.
Someone take the mic from him.
History will dictate if this is a turning point for our country. But every single one of us gets to choose right now if this is a turning point for us. We get to make decisions. We have our agency. And I desperately call on every American, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, conservative, MAGA, all of us to please, please, please follow what Charlie taught me. I'll just conclude with words I share often from a friend and author, Yuval Levin, who was asked if he was optimistic about our country. And he said, "I'm not optimistic." He said, "I hate optimism." God, that sounds bad. But he said, optimism is a vice. It's this idea that good things are just going to happen. And he said, in the history of the world, good things have never just happened. He says, I'm not optimistic, but I am hopeful. And hope is the virtue that sits between the vices of optimism and pessimism. Hope is the idea that good things are going to happen because we can make them so. I still believe in our country. And I know Charlie Kirk believed in our country. I still believe that there is more good among us than evil. And I still believe that we can change the course of history. I'm hopeful because Americans can make it so. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to answer any questions you might have. I cannot speak to that right now. Well, I will leave that up to you to interpret what those engravings mean. I think the clearest one that says "catch fascist," there's not. And by the way, that's like catch like a ball, catch this. That's I think that speaks for itself.
What a jackass.
There's nothing more that we can share at this time.
Governor,
Then why are you taking questions?
We do not at this time have any information that would lead to any additional arrests.
do you believe he acted alone?
Yes, but the investigation is ongoing. Yes, so right now, Mr. Robinson has been booked into the Utah County Jail. You heard the president this morning report that that he was taken into custody, that his family and a friend helped to deliver him into custody of law enforcement in Washington County. Those of you that don't know where Washington County is, it is the southwesternmost part of the state of Utah. It's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive from here, where we are right now, and that's where he lived and where they turned him in. Please, I go here. I can't share any more than what I've already shared. Yeah.
Then what are you doing? Then I don't know why we were asking questions.
So how we obtained the gun was found here. So I don't have much more details on that. We do know that he drove. We had his car here on campus, and then we had his car going south back to the St. George. It's actually the city of Washington in Washington County. I'm sorry?
Where did he park his car?
We don't have any information that would lead us to believe that. Yes, in fact, it was just released. Yes. I can't answer that right now. Yeah, thank you. Over here. I absolutely believe that this is a watershed in American history. Yes. The question is, what kind of watershed?
What is he doing?
That chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history, or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history? Look, I mean, if you look at true political assassinations in this country of someone of this stature, this feels a lot like the late 60s, and having one so gruesomely displayed on camera in all of our hands and in all of our pockets. We are not wired as human beings biologically, historically. We have not evolved in a way that we are capable of processing those types of violent imagery. And by the way, we've seen another one with a gruesome stabbing very recently that went viral. This is not good for us. It is not good to consume. Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage,
social media helped you.
Turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. That is happening, and it's happening organically right now. I had a friend in a small city in Utah who said, we're getting together. The Republicans and Democrats in my little town are getting together to have a discussion tonight. Last night, just to find a way to find their better angels. So yes, this could be. I mean, you know, again, you have to go back to JFK to have seen a video live of something like this happening. I wasn't born until 1975, but I know that things were really dark in the late 60s. Sorry to some of you. I know some of you were there, but this is our moment. Do we escalate, or do we find an off-ramp? And again, it's a choice. It's a choice, and every one of us gets to make that choice. Two more questions right here. I cannot comment if there is a direct connection or not, but all I can say is that that through some process, the family came to know that this had happened. Correct. Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof.
He does?
And then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU. Last question here. Yes. Yeah. So I don't have any information on the mental illness part. He was not a student here at UVU. He was living and had lived for a long time with his family in Washington County, in the southernmost part of our state. Thank you, everyone, for your great work in getting this information out. I would just say, process-wise, this may be important. I know many of you aren't familiar with the process in Utah. I think it's important that you understand that basically we have 3 days for charging documents to be filed. A CI will be filed. We'll have more information then, more detailed information, as those charging documents are filed in preparation for a preliminary hearing. So 3 days. So we would anticipate then that early next week those charging documents will be filed. We will obviously be working. The county attorney will be working very closely with Mr. Kirk's family as those documents and decisions are prepared and made. Thanks, everyone.
Oh my God. He literally, when I thought nothing could get worse than Chief Fry, we have a winner. Takes the crown. I mean, wow. What? And then what's this at the end?
Seen a video live of something really dark. This is our moment. Again, it's a choice. I cannot comment if there is a direct connection or not, but all I can say.
Well, yeah, his parents turned him in, right? So like they saw the picture, like, oh my God, that's our boy.
That through some process, the family came to know that this had happened.
Well, because they're saying that the kid told the parents something along the lines that it was like a confession almost. Where did he park the Charger, the gray Charger? It was, hey, we saw him on campus at 11:52. Now they're saying he on campus at 8:59, or in the area at 8:59.
Correct. Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof.
What? He changed clothing on the roof? You guys, we saw him jump from the roof. Wasn't it the same clothing that he had on? What's he talking about? That's not right. He has that. Why is he talking about this? So he doesn't know.
and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU. Last question here. Yes.
You're saying he was taken in? Okay. Let me just, I'm going to show you guys some pictures. Like, yeah, he botched that in a way. I don't know why. I don't know how. Okay. But let's go take a look at some pictures we have here. Okay. Okay, let's see. This is in 2020. You know, my cute little fam. And so he's one of three. He's the oldest one. Oh, I mean, she's that mom. He's got the shoes that he has on. What, you think that he's just wearing those same shoes? No, they're probably different. I mean, those are so many years ago. Driver's license. Again, this is all off of his mom's social media. Hold on one second. Hold on. Ah, boy. Okay, here's some more pictures. Again, this is August 14th. I'm kind of going in order. First day of school for my Tyler. Senior year is going to be busy for this boy. This is one of the ones I read to you. Put your mask on. Okay. Oh, what happened there? God. I can't believe my boy's a senior and going to college in the fall, March 2nd, 2021. But can't imagine not having him at home. Oh my gosh, this is like wow, I'm getting like weird vibes. If you know, you know. Her picture is him and her. Like, it's not like her and the whole family. It's him and her. He took a senior picture with his mask on. I'm sorry. What? Come on, that's what? Wow. Masks are a memory. So Amber has 3 children. Okay, so I think it's I think it's a little I this is my opinion. Okay, you have 3 children. If I had 3 kids and I only had my Facebook photo of me and just one of my kids, I think that there's something wrong with that. On the onset, it would just show favoritism. I would never want any of my kids to feel that way. And this is taken like literally like these are all pictures from obviously today. And so I'm just shocked that she wouldn't have a picture of her whole family. Okay. Again, my picture, my thoughts. This is what I read you guys about his, off the chart smart. I'd rather have a kid with common sense than brains any day. Just my opinion. I mean, he didn't go anywhere without those shoes. He's a maroon guy. He was in maroon clothes. Hold on. What's this next one? Okay, this is the picture that she's in with him. Taylor is officially a high school graduate. So proud. So see, she stood in with that. So proud of this boy. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for him. Oh boy. May 25th, 2021. That's sad. Again, this was 2021. He had just graduated high school. Since he was taking some college classes, he would have had some credits, going into college. So happy birthday to this boy. 17-year-old, you made me a mama. I read that to you guys. So usually during when we post pictures of like birthday times, you're going to post pictures of like, over the years or whatever. So this looks like a bedroom pic. I mean, maroon t-shirt, jeans, maroon shirt over here. He's just a maroon and he's a marooner. All right, I got some other ones. It feels so bad for families, Charlie's family, this family. I think that giving more praise to this family doing the right thing, because without them, anybody turning him in, I don't think we would have him yet. He's a marooner. Oh, I'm just saying, like that's his favorite color. People usually like the colors that they wear because it makes something pop, whether it's your eyes, whether it's your skin color. He's a marooner. He likes maroon. No, he's not vegan. Oh, a fishing trip. Outdoors. I mean, I wonder if that's his backpack. Oh, there you go. the foot impressions that I see on the roof, unless like it's after somebody had already obviously been up there, but they look more like boot impressions up on the roof than they do shoe impressions to me. Um, Up, he has a hood up. Look out. See, I mean, families are taking family pictures. I don't know. This just breaks my heart, you know, to see this. This is just awful. It's a like any other, like a family that you would see, you know, when you go take your pictures. This would be like a portrait that would be on like the wall, you know. It's just, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. This, and these parents are like, what did we do wrong? Probably. And how did this happen? Like we love our kids. We did everything with our kids. We, you know, got them into sports, got them into probably, I don't know, Boy Scouts. And we went to church. We ate together. We went on vacations together, you know? Sad. Look at, how did they catch all of these? I wonder if they went to like one of those places that you pay and you know you're going to get something. My gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, everybody. They all have 2. I never catch anything. He's the oldest boy of the family. Let's see some more I got. Okay, now here's more recent photos. And this is, I want to say, yeah, this is like the dorm room. Okay, so see, told you he was a marooner. Richard and Moon Anderson Engineering Building. Going to school to be an engineer. Well, that's interesting because that's what I said. I was like an engineer with like the whole layout. You know, when your parents move you in and they get your last picture, like, oh my God, take a picture. Yeah. Uh, every mom is sad when that, this is just horrible. Ugh. Horrible for his children. Yep. So it's all just sad. This is just, I think they should ask him a lot of questions, you know. I'm sure his family will. A family that turned him in, I think, they probably have a lot of questions themselves. Ugh. Last night I was watching all like the clips of, Charlie with his family, his little one of his little girls running up to him when he was doing like one of the morning shows. One thing that's I try to like take something positive is that his kids will at least have all of the videos that he had that he made, and they'll be able to somewhat, get to seem like they get to know their father by having all the videos. And since they have it since the time he started, it's like they get to kind of like watch it in progression order. People don't have that. So hopefully that's something I think for his children that he has that. They have that. Mm. Yeah, I agree. Atlanta, thanks for streaming. I'll tune in when there's more facts and evidence. I'm not into the maybe this, maybe that terrible press conference. 100%. He needed to just be quiet. you know, um, you usually don't want to hear from the governor. You want to hear from the people that did the work. Like I said, Chief Fry, take a bow. You are no longer the owner of the most shittiest press conference. We don't even know that answer. So, I do want to play this though, really quick. If you guys want to see it, stick around. If not, it's okay.
We heard from Utah's governor, Spencer Cox, in that press conference saying that a suspect's family member actually turned him in. We're also hearing that he was joined alongside a family friend. Let's discuss that, because as the images were circulating, we had images from TMZ, we had images from the campus. We saw the suspected shooter climbing the side of the roof to get up there. There were so many people who were speculating who this person could be, many people not knowing that it would be a family member who would come out to turn this person in.
Yeah, so a lot of these cases, just mass shooters in general, school shooters, or in this instance, most of these individuals, they have the term, we hear it all the time, but it's leakage. I don't know, but I'd be safe to say, and they mentioned it briefly in the news conference, where there may have been some leakage in him talking about it and showing this hatred towards Mr. Kirk prior to actually committing the incident. And I I'm glad that the family members helped turn him in after the fact, but I wish they, they were a little bit more proactive and maybe this never would have happened.
As you say that you wish it never would have happened, some somber words from Utah's governor towards the end, and I want to quote him. For many people, it stuck out. He says, "Is this the end of a dark chapter or the beginning of a darker chapter in history? With your Secret Service expertise, unfortunately, this isn't the first type of tragedy you have covered, but so many viewers on the edge of their seats wondering, is this the end or the beginning of a darker chapter?" As Utah's governor so eloquently put it.
Yes, he brought up a couple good points, talking about the 60s, which were a little bit before my time as well, but, one of the most violent times as far as assassinations go. And with my experience, we've seen a lot of violent events, towards this country. But like you said, most importantly, we have a choice. We individually have a choice whether or not how we write this next chapter. And hopefully people take to heart exactly what he said and make that choice to turn to talking about differences and choosing towards, nonviolence.
Yeah. Well,
Tim, this morning, a lot of eyes are on the weapon, even the bullet. We are learning from authorities in that press conference that a bullet had the words "Hey Fascist" written on it. For many people, they are looking back to that tragedy that unfolded at Annunciation, a Catholic school and church, where we were learning that some of the magazines from that suspected gunman had words written on it, some of them political, some full of hate.
Yeah, Arik Toller.
Oopsies.
Things about Charlie Kirk.
Okay. Oh, Bella, if you read this, you are gay. LMAO.
Let me just play that for you right here.
Shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member,
he went to that university.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Fired casing. Notices bulges. OWO. What's this?
I believe that.
Okay, what are you guys' thoughts for the fired casing? I want to see him in the chat. What do you guys think about that? Yes, it's Italian, yes. Again. So let me get this straight. He had on the clothes that we saw him in. Then they're saying that he changed on the roof into clothes. Okay. Then when he took the shot, then when do they think he then changed again on the roof? Because when he's jumping from the roof, he's in the same clothing. And this would have been if someone's writing on their bullets. Okay. Planned.
And some of our viewers are saying that he possibly went to Utah State. I don't have that myself. I was just trying to figure out
We
what
don't have that
happened,
either.
what he was doing now.
Bella's got all this shit over here. She's like, I pulled him. I got everything. I got everything before it got wiped. She's like, mute. So I muted. And she's like, we got it all. And I'm like, she's like, got it all. I was like, get me that book now. I want to see this book. I want every parking ticket.
Oops, sorry. Hold on a second here. Look, that's what it was written. I'm not going to start making pronouncements on this stuff without, I don't know all the references. I will say this, though. There's nothing overt. It's not overtly and explicitly supporting some sort of anti-fascist transgender ideology. But again, I don't know all the references, so I'm not going to start making pronunciations on it. But Carl T. Joyful, our viewer, says it's all memes. My sense is that
it's all memes. Anybody feel that way? Are they memes? Let's see this one now back. Gosh. Well, let's see the CNN version. I don't even know if this is. Oh, they still just replaying.
We'll hear from Governor Cox, FBI Director Cash.
Oh, this is like old. It's not live. Never mind. I mean, how much room do you have on a bullet? I gotta go to a, I mean, what?
Or do we find an off-ramp?
Direct response from what we have heard.
University. And here's the moment Utah Governor Spencer Kirk broke the news.
Good morning, ladies and
one shot from a rooftop more than... Hi, I'm Diane Macedo. Let's get right to that breaking news. Officials are identifying a suspect they say is in custody in the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. They're identifying that suspect as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Investigators say he fired one shot from a rooftop more than 100 yards away while Kirk was speaking at Utah Valley University. And here's the moment Utah Governor Spencer Kirk broke the news.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A family member.
To elaborate on those, the cartridges and the weapon have been sent to the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia for analysis, and investigators will no doubt try and figure out how those might help them establish a motive.
And I want to go over to Alex Mellon because Alex, the FBI director, was.
I'm telling you, man, he has boots on. And what do you mean he's changed clothes? I don't understand what he's
and
talking
another
about.
on one of the unspent cartridges that said, if you read this, you are gay. The authorities have not said what those mean. The governor declined to elaborate on those. The cartridges and the weapon have been sent to the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia for analysis, and investigators will no doubt try and figure out how those might help them establish a motive.
And I want to go over to Alex Mellon because Alex, the FBI director, was there at this press conference. He's been there since last night. And he also talked about the response to law enforcement here, how this whole thing came together, and really praising the public for playing a critical role.
Significant criticism for his initial handling. Remember, he actually announced the day that this happened that they had a subject in custody, and on this publicly were scrutinized. He obviously went to the scene yesterday with Deputy Director Dan Bongino. They both personally surveyed it. And then he attended that news conference last night where he didn't say a word. And they released those videos. But obviously, he was very much touting the work of local law enforcement, the partnership with the federal law enforcement. He said that obviously releasing those videos, the decision to take those videos and the pictures out, he said he credited with the identification ultimately of this subject. And I think that, you know, we're gonna see whether the Justice Department and federal prosecutors weighed bringing federal charges in this case. We heard from Governor Cox. He said he anticipates that they have about 3 days to bring local charges, which will spell out a lot more information about this case. I think that, you know, you're going to see in the coming hours, they're going to be exploiting all of his devices. They're going to be conducting search warrants and more interviews. We could get a lot more information and that initial complaint that they bring against him.
Yeah.
And there was a suspect in custody from the president himself.
He announced it this morning, Diane, in an interview on Fox News, said that he was briefed on it just 5 minutes before he walked out there onto the set and had been.
I mean, think about this, guys. So last night at 10 p.m., they had him, okay? Think about this. They were able to keep it all under wraps. 10 p.m., okay? Until just what? 8:30 a.m.? So, like I saying 10 p.m., I mean, and if it was 10 p.m. their time, that'd be like noon for me, or midnight. It's a long time to keep it quiet. Don't you think? I'll tell you this. To only have 6 officers there, and it was just so easy to just walk and go wherever. That's what leads me to believe that this could have been done this way. I mean, there was only 6 police officers there. I don't understand the first event back. I just would think that all those roofs would have been like, no one's getting on any of those roofs. It's so obvious. They're just like right here, and literally you could jump off the back of them and you're on the ground. I don't know.
Told that the law enforcement officials thought they had their guy. Then, of course, had talked at length about what would happen next. And he said that he would like to see a speedy trial for the suspect. And he said he would hope that he gets the death penalty for the crime that he committed. That's what the president had said earlier today. You know, and Diane, and these kept up the message that we heard from him earlier this week, right after the shooting, where he was blaming what he called the radical left. He said they're the problem. They're vicious. They're hard. Governor Cox in that press conference.
Which I disagree with saying.
Diane, who said this is the moment for the country. Certainly more of a measured response there, calling for calm and an understanding.
Also talked more about the timeline here.
Yes.
They're now saying they are putting Tyler Robinson at the campus, arriving at 11:29 in the morning.
No, they're not. What?
What did you make of how they laid all that out, saying he arrived in a Dodge Charger, and then they confirmed with the family and the roommate that he had.
Oh, wait, what didn't we just watch what is she talking about? He just said 8:50, 8:29, 8:59. He just gave the time of 8 something. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Like, how do you miss this, honey?
At a Dodge Charger, talking about how he changed clothes, how he got off campus, and trying to piece together all these pieces of evidence to lay out this puzzle.
Diane, it's important to understand that because that goes to premeditated homicide. He planned this out. He got there early. He had clothes. He had the gun. Probably cased out the entire location. May have stood where Charlie was shot, and then looked up and looked for a vantage point and scoped that out. So he gave him plenty of time to do that. The car is important. It's a 250-mile trip.
Yeah, I want to know where the car was left because is the TMZ footage not accurate? Where'd he park the car and where'd he go?
Back and forth to where he came from. Again, premeditation right there. You look at this, things like that. Very strong timeline here. Kash Patel, the director Patel, said they put the photos out at 10 o'clock in the morning. At 10 o'clock at night, they had him in handcuffs. So it was a 12-hour window right there. That moves quickly. Goes to this power of the.
I think it was a smart move by putting out the picture. That means that you believe in America too. If you're putting out the picture, you're also believing that people are going to do the right thing, even though that they're related to somebody.
Media release of these images.
And I want to bring in Catherine Falders as well, who's been following this very closely for us. Catherine, unusual in that you are hearing the president break news and commenting in real time on this case. We also heard the FBI director himself in this conference saying, you know, he had a message for Charlie Kirk saying, "Rest up, my brother." The influence here, it's hard to understate or overstate rather the level of influence and where that goes from here.
Yeah, and I am obviously curious where that does go from here. Obviously, the president, the first person this morning in an interview on Fox and Friends announcing that the suspect was in custody. Of course, Trump didn't identify him at the time. We know that Kash Patel flew down to Utah yesterday and was on the ground. You showed some of those pictures earlier of him right up there on the roof at the crime scene that was taken yesterday when he got into town. We also, of course, saw those images of Vice President JD.
I think that press conference sucked dick. I think that press conference should have been spoke by that man who is the governor of Utah, Cox. Someone needs to send him a bag of dicks. It's a joke. Cox, get it? Bag of dicks, get it? Woo. Anyways, I don't think that he should have been giving the press conference because I would think that somebody that, I mean, that did the work. Our governor didn't do the work. Our governor doesn't know what, why would I want someone to give a press conference that's getting it all hearsay? You know, what the fuck, man? That's why stuff gets messed up. Only for him to do all of this, you know, other speech that was not necessary. It's just not necessary.
Vance flying to Utah to retrieve the casket with Charlie Kirk, of course, the family as well, his wife, flying Air Force Two.
The other thing I want to say, if he drove 3.5 to 4 hours, okay, and he arrived at 8:30, that's putting you leaving at like 4 a.m. You're gonna have to stop and get gas probably for that trip. Where did he stop and get gas? Like, see, that stuff. I'm just give me the timeline. Let's map out his timeline. He was living in a college dorm. Okay.
From there to Arizona.
Did he have a roommate?
Yes.
Just curious. Did he have a roommate?
The influence here, of course, is broad, and we're seeing that with all of these officials and in the comments that they're making. I just want to comment on that video that you're playing there on the screen. That video, when they released that late last night during their press conference, it's just quite striking. It obviously shows the suspect on that roof where Kash Patel was seen yesterday as well. Of course, not the same day, but visiting the crime scene. Shows him.
You guys, he knew that he would have to bring a towel. He brought a towel with him, so he put a towel in the book bag. Okay, He didn't change clothes. I'm telling you, go look at the photos of the roof. Show me where the imprints are of those Converse Chucks, whatever. I see boots with the fur. He's in college, 22. But Cox said he lived at home with his parents. Okay. I mean, wow. Well, what was he doing between 8:30 and 11:52 a.m.? Let's see. What else do I have in this bag of tricks? Twitter's probably off the chains right now. I think it's interesting that he wants to say that social media is bad. Anything can be bad for you it's all about balance. I mean, anything can be bad for you. But social media is what's keeping mainstream media in check. Okay? Anybody that disagrees with that, that's your right to disagree, but I would like to know why you disagree.
Now, as most of us are.
Here. We got him.
On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political.
Okay. 8:29 a.m. in his Charger on campus. Now, what does the term on campus mean? On campus. Well, where he went running to, that was leaving campus. And now it goes to the pictures that I was showing. Hold on, I want to get the. Where is that? Where is that one? Hold on. I'm telling you, the boots that I see are the ones that he had on in the boat. That's what I see. I thought I had him in shorts. Hold on. Come on.
Escaping. It was really after that video, Diane, was released that all of this really started moving it into motion, right? They had this press conference. We were told by sources that, of course, while they had some names, they hadn't at that point identified somebody and didn't know where he was. They laid out the timeline in a pretty striking way in that press conference just a moment ago, and obviously we're able to use the public to identify him, and of course a family member. Obviously we're
Okay, right there. Doesn't it look like he taped something over his shirt? Like that's actually like taped on? Yeah. I think from the videos he has boots on. I think we would see the light colored those shoes, and the tips are white. I mean, it does look tape? Does it not look tape? Like it looks like he put. And was it so that when he would take that off and then his shirt would be then different? You know? Also,
able to use the public to identify him, and of course a family member, which we heard in that press conference. So yes, the influence here the Republican influence here will continue. Of course, we'll still continue to hear from Trump, and as we know, we will time hadn't at that. We were told by moving in the crime scene
look at
shows him
that. Those are
escaping.
fucking boots.
It was
man.
really after
Those are boots.
not the same day, but visiting the crime scene shows him escaping. It was really after that video, Diane, was released that all of this really obviously shows the suspect that you're playing there on the screen. That video, when they released that late last night during their press conference, it's just quite striking. It obviously shows the suspect on that roof where Kash Patel was seen yesterday as well. Of course, not the same day, but visiting the crime scene shows him escaping. It was really after that video, Diane, was released.
I don't know. It also could be because of the lighting. It could be his tennis shoes. But what about, okay, the pictures that I have from up top on the roof? Unless somebody was standing all over the place. I'll take a look at that again. I'll share those pictures with you too here. This one. And this one.
That all of this.
Limited time offer. Authorities recovered in a wooded area. They said it was wrapped in a towel, and the message on Discord also mentioned the gun being wrapped in a towel. So, Diane, that's giving them confidence. They have the right individual, and the governor said he would be charged with the murder of Charlie Kirk in the next couple of days. And the governor said that the authorities recovered in a wooded area Charlie Kirk and would have cause, but they are still digging in and investigating other connections that he had, no doubt looking at social media. On Discord is where authorities said he mentioned needing to retrieve a rifle, the single bolt action rifle that the authorities recovered in a wooded area. They said it was wrapped in a towel, and the message on Discord also mentioned the gun being wrapped in a towel. So, Diane, that
Okay, here. So I'll zoom in. Those are way more indentation than your shoes would be. Those indent way more to me than shoes. Anybody? That's a boot. I think it's a boot. I think it's a boot because I'm just talking about the mere fact of like not even the pattern. Let's take the pattern out of it. How deep the indentation is. Okay, you guys all know how your boots are compared to like your tennis shoes for the separation of the indentation. Okay, those are way bigger. So see like the heel part in the back there? And Converse may have like their pattern on the bottom of it, but they're not thick, deep soles that like but again, I don't know if an official got up there, you know what I mean? And that this is like their, you know. And I'm sorry, but look at how, dude, that is not a high jump at all, like I was saying. And that's the first thing that I noticed. I was like, damn. So that gun was taken apart, right, and fit in the backpack, and the gun was put together on the roof and the ladder he went up had a fire truck near it. What? No, this is after the fact. This isn't, he didn't go up this ladder, Mary. This is them doing the work after the fact. He jumped from the roof. Look at how close the roof is to the ground. Like, you could jump that. Like, that's the whole point, is that this was planned. Your escape is easy. Like, but what's crazy is you should have never been able to get up on the roof so easily. He just waltzed up there. And I wouldn't think that he would have gloves on to take the shot that he took, you know. Mary must have just got here. Mary didn't have her coffee this morning. How did he get on the roof? He walked up there. He just, there was no security. None. That's what I'm confused about, is what can you do by standing around me to protect me? That would be somebody coming like right up to me, right? Okay, I would just think that I need one. I mean, but there were 6 cops there this whole event, but not just this whole event, on campus. There was just 6 cops like working. It's like when did they, I want to know how many tickets they gave out during this event. How many tickets were they walking around and giving parking tickets to during this event? You only have 6 cops working, and by God, I bet you 2 of them were meter checkers. Fucking ridiculous. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a short and say, hey, come forward if you got a ticket, you know, on campus, so we can just show you what the fuck you guys think is important. Your little stupid meters. Okay. The layout of this property, of where this college campus is in the school, and you just take one look at it and you are literally a sitting duck in a bowl around you. Okay. because it's a bowl. And so you're down. It's like being at an amphitheater, like, and where everything else is up. But if you're on a roof, you're still not off the ground that much compared to where the shooter or where he's sitting. I mean, it does not take an engineer to look at that campus, look at where that would have been set up. Charlie does the same thing every time when he does his debates. There's nothing different about his setup. It was just there was nothing, it wasn't hard to do this. I could see if there was all these, hey, we had a police officer at every building, at any entry point to a roof. That wasn't the case. So that's where it's like, for people to go conspiracy theory on this, dude, that argument right now is weak to me, because you're going to have to go the inside route better to say that it was Charlie under the assumption that all these people checked the roof. All these people checked the roofs. And when did you check the roof? At 10? You know, and you're going to be out there for 2 hours. That's like a constant checking. I don't know. Fuck checking. Like, you check it, make sure nobody's up there. And then you're having somebody at that entry point to get up on the roof. I think with all the cameras, I guarantee you they have way more footage. Way more footage. It's a college campus. They have tons of cameras on college campuses. This was the largest college campus in Utah. Come on now. Where that kid was walking up the stairs, I wanted to try to find out where that was located, around here. And it was pretty early it's like he just started. So what kind of threw me off is when they want to talk about the certain pictures that are at 11:52. Where did that come into play? That he was. Where is he at 11:52? Because he takes the shot at 12:23. And then they just have it completely wrong when they're going to talk about that he changed clothes up on that roof. Changed to what? He's wearing the same thing. Maybe he thinks he changed clothes because he ripped off that, I don't know, thing that was covering the whatever his shirt really said. I was looking up Charlie's gear that you can buy on his website. And the one that says like "We the People," or he has like his articles of clothing that you could buy. And I was wondering if one of the shirts that he was actually wearing was one of those shirts, and that he put something over it. So when he would then leave, it's like, I have a Charlie Kirk shirt on. Every single piece of apparel on Charlie Kirk's YouTube channel, if you go to it, it's all sold out. Even the 3Xs. All our bigger men and women, they're supporting everything. I went through every single one of the items of clothing, and every single one is sold out. And I went and did that on the 11th. I would like to know if the shooter ever attempted to debate him. Why wouldn't you debate him? Instead of like, if you don't agree, go debate somebody and like try and like, punk them down or something like that. Wouldn't that be like you're a smart kid, right? If you think you're so smart and you get all these A's and shit like that, go debate, man. Flex. Shooting somebody is not flexing. It's weak. It's weak. Flexing is that you can debate and be in front of a bunch of people publicly, whether it's even on a podcast and you're still in front of, a bunch of people watching, and hold your own. It's kind of like an athlete on a playing field. I don't know. yeah, I think that's where it should stay, you know? I think I preach over here that, you know, when you wrong one man, you wrong all of us when you're going for our rights. Okay. And that's how I look at this, is that somebody violated our rights. It's unlawful to go and shoot somebody, right? You know, we have the right to freedom of speech. We have the right. Charlie had the right to be there. He had the right to speak. He had the right to, and everybody else there, you know, if this person misses, he hits somebody else, like, you know, I just look at it as like, how damn dare you fuck with our rights? And so it's like, it doesn't, there's no side here. It's just our right. You have that right. I have that right. Just because you're on one side or the other doesn't mean you have a more of a right. You know what I mean? So it's just like, why aren't we keeping it? They're just like, oh my God, I can't believe this person's from our state. Are you fucking kidding me? How about I just can't believe this person's human? Like a human did this. Like, woo. Oh, is there a newer one? That's interesting. State. I can't believe this was somebody from Utah. Are you kidding me? It's just like the same thing with Idaho. What are you talking about? Why does that matter? Why would this person be in any state? Or it'd be better if they weren't. It's just, what? Why are you dividing? Why are you making other states seem like that they're less superior to you or you're more superior to it's just wild. How do you say that in the same sentence when you want to talk about equality? The fuck are you talking about? And that just blew up his whole, like, you know, everything said lost when you want to talk about you know, we would never kill our own what? Like, that's in sports, man. Are you confusing the two? Like, what? It's just bizarre. It's a bizarre argument for the purpose. It takes your purpose away. It's contradictory. It's ridiculous. In fact, for Charlie, he's traveling around to all the different states. You know what I mean? So Charlie doesn't think that he's better than anybody that's in any of these states. He's going to these states. You know what I mean? And he doesn't go to all of them, right? So if you don't live in a certain state and he doesn't go to that state, how do you go and see him? You'd have to go to, I mean, so to divide states, it's almost like that's your own personal agenda, because do you want to get, like, I don't know, your cahoon sucked off by the president or something, that you want to become, I want my political career to flourish in some way? Because let me tell you something, your public speaking skills suck. You ain't going anywhere. I don't care whose dick you suck. You can't, don't even know what you're saying. Okay. Stay in your lanes. And dividing the states is not what you do. Dividing people, pointing fingers, no. Everybody, it's like I said, it's like the mafia days, man. Nobody just can go out of pocket and shoot somebody from another family. The families come together and they don't allow that, and they fucking, like, bye-bye. They don't, like, there's rules, right? You don't shoot people at a political debate or what? Yeah, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. There's no blaming any, you know. Everybody comes together. And then why aren't you saying it as a whole? It just pissed me off. Nobody was looting or rioting across the whole states, not just Utah. The fuck, man? The message is unity, is unity, and you made it about Utah, and that's really, really unfortunate. That's what you did with your speech. And Charlie's not from Utah, so what about that? You know, it's just stupid. There was no violence anywhere that I saw. Yeah, people made stupid comments, really ignorant comments, and that's what's going to be the next topic is people saying stuff afterwards about, praising that he was shot or whatever, and now they got, put on paid leave and shit like that with their schools and blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to say, well, Lana, that's freedom of speech, right? I'm like, yeah, that's freedom of speech, but guess what? The school can do whatever they want then, I think, too, right? What's the employment? What's the contracts? What does it look like? You have to look at it from the whole circle. If you want to say that, do I want you teaching my kid if your answer to something is because you don't like what they have to say, that you are cheering on and okay with somebody A, violating our rights, B, murdering somebody? Like, do I want my kid to learn from you? Absolutely not. If that's what you want to be free to say, I think that you're absolutely fucking crazy, and I have that right to think that and say that. Because would you ever want somebody cheering on your kid's death? Would you ever want somebody cheering on your family members? I mean, that's just fuck's wrong, you know? And if you're an educator, that's a mentality. Like, that's where your mindset is. Do I want you educating not just my kid, but anybody's kid? Fuck no, man. No, bye. Bye. So it's not, to me, it's just like, yeah, you have that right, but the schools have the right to, hey, we don't want to employ you, and you be okay with promoting, talk about fucking hate. That's like promoting violence, no? Everyone want to police everyone's speech. Thank you, Lana. Baylor removed a student teacher. She is entitled to her opinion, but teaching it, no. Yeah. But also, like, your opinion shouldn't be in the form of how are you acting on it? How are you acting on your opinion? You know, it's just like it's layered. And nothing's ever just clear cut and dry. But I'll tell you what is clear cut and dry is due process, our fair procedures, our fundamentally constitutional rights, man. All right? There's no fucking with that. There's no sides to that. Everybody has the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. Everybody has a right to a fair trial. Everybody has a right for fucking media to shut the fuck up and not spread bullshit for ratings. So I agree, Karen. Nobody should be promoting violence. I just think violence is weak. I think violence is weak. Use your brain. Use your smarts. You know? Yeah, 100. You can wait. Exactly. I'll wait for the evidence. I just think that they were not prepared for that press conference, or the wrong person gave the press conference. Hey, we can't answer any questions right now, but this is what we can tell you. And, you know, this is what we have right now without jeopardizing, the integrity of the investigation. Everything has to align fundamentally, and it's just like the shooter has his right to a fair proceeding, his day in court, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's why I just believe that you can't pick and choose when you want to do something right and when you don't want to do something. And for me, with the Idaho 4 case, is holy shit, this probable cause affidavit was nothing but lies, but that's what arrested somebody, and that is absolutely unacceptable. It doesn't mean that that person is not guilty, but it means that you violated our rights to do what you did, and I just don't understand how you can think that you can do that in front of all of our eyes while we're watching, and you justify it by saying, we got the right person and he's going to kill again. And how about this? We don't have the right people then doing the jobs that you can't do by not violating our rights. So but how this ties to the 4 case on rights. Don't know what that means. Wicca blank shady. So with that said, Yuri, thank you again for turning 5 people green in here. If you got turned green because of Yuri. Meaning I agree. I just liked your name. Wicca blank shady. I feel like I'm reading the reports from the Idaho 4 case. Blankety blank 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 and blank 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 blank. So thank you, moderators, for being in here. You guys rock. I'm going to have to send Mary a coffee. So. Oh, here. Oh. Yeah, I'll just post it. I'll post some of these pictures in my community post tab, whatever you guys call it. Mary's like, yes. But until later, join me. Lana, please say boots with the fur. Bag of dicks, cocks, it's all good. Please join me. I'm going to be going over. We have new body cam footage from the crime scene, the investigation of Shanna Gardner with Jared Bridegan. It's really interesting shit. So that got pushed back because I was doing some of this coverage, and I've redacted a bunch of stuff from Sheldon's crime scene photos. So, and then I have more to read on the Brian Culver case with WSU's interviews that are just absolutely fucking horrible. Like, these people need new jobs. And so, yeah, I'll make some thumbnails for you guys. But we got lots to do. So, yeah, you like that redactedness. So, everybody, Friday, let's live it up. Be kind. See you on the next one. Hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs down. You have an opinion. Make yourself known. Appreciate all of you.